first speaker for tonight will be Ben Rogers-Petro. He's one of the nicest and most musical people I know. And he spends his days humming 80s music. He likes people, baseball, and music, of course. And he's in a love triangle with a violin and piano and himself. And he's a big advocate for progressive rock. So give it up for Ben.
Good evening. I am Ben Rogers-Petro. My project is titled Scoring for Film. I'm going to begin this presentation by showing you a video. This is the ending scene from Star Wars: A New Hope, and I'm assuming that you've all seen this, but just in case you haven't, it's a very triumphant scene. The heroes have just destroyed the Death Star, and they're being honored for their heroic acts. So take a look at this clip, and maybe it will give you an idea as to why I chose this project. It's pretty uncomfortable, isn't it? Well, at least I thought so. Ladies and gentlemen, that is why I chose scoring for film as my project. Because I, like John Williams, the composer of the Star Wars soundtrack, want to fight to end awkward silences. And of course, this isn't the only reason I chose my project. My love of movie soundtracks began when I was a child. My family had a few movies that we watched over and over again. And these movies were Star Wars, Harry Potter, The Pirates of the Caribbean, and The Lord of the Rings. After several go-arounds of these films, I became well acquainted with the music supporting what was on the screen. I got my hands on a CD of The Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl soundtrack, and my world changed. I didn't need to sit through the movie anymore. I could just sit back, close my eyes, and listen to the soundtrack and know exactly what was going on in the story. I then decided to devote hours upon hours to learning how to play the Curse of the Black Pearl soundtrack on the piano. Someone once gave me the piano sheet music to help me out, but I think I may have opened that book once, cut out the cool posters inside it, and then never opened it again. I ended up learning the whole thing by ear, and after that, I did the same with its sequel, Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. I didn't stop there. I learned themes from Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, and Indiana Jones even, which, mind you, I was not allowed to see at the time. I had to learn from playing the Lego video game. From that point on, my love of movie soundtracks only grew, making it an easy decision for my senior project. The question then became, what am I going to compose music for? Did anyone have any movies lying around that were missing a soundtrack? The answer, as it turned out, lay a few feet away in the form of my classmate, Tika Eccles. For her senior project, Tika decided to take on writing a full-length screenplay. We agreed that I would compose music based off scenes from her screenplay, which was titled The Movie Machine. Her story was very futuristic, and it explored many different genres. This gave me the opportunity and challenge to be diverse in my composing. I won't say too much more about her project, since I don't want to give too much away. Instead, you can find out for yourself on Thursday when she'll give her presentation. Scoring for a full-length screenplay would require lots of time, something that I didn't really have. So what I ended up doing was choosing a few different genres and scenes to compose for, as well as writing a theme for the main character, a girl named Jack. I ended up creating 5 pieces in total. I wrote for a wild western scene, an 80s action cop movie scene, as well as a horror scene. I also composed one piece that went back and forth from villain to hero themes, and my fifth composition was a piece I thought would work well as ending music. Going into this project, I'd never done anything quite like this. I composed 3 choral pieces for the college play of the Lark last spring, but other than that, any composing I'd done had been on my own time. I'd never written a Western, an 80s cop theme, or a scary horror movie piece before. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I didn't acknowledge this at the time, and I began my project. As I was entering the beginning stages of my project, I began to be mentored by Graham here. Graham and I's relationship goes back beyond senior project. He helped me while I was writing those pieces for the college play, so I knew that he was incredibly musical and easy to work with. I was lucky to have Graham as my mentor, and this really became evident when I was ready to try to tackle the Western. I was completely stumped. I gave it my best shot, but it ended up sounding like gritty inner-city club music, according to Graham. I was sent back to the drawing board, but not empty-handed this time. He showed me classic Western music, such as themes from The Magnificent Seven and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, to give me a better understanding of what my music should be sounding like. He also advised me as to what instruments I might want to use. He talked about the significance of using instruments one might find in a Western setting, like harmonica, honky-tonk piano, and guitar. With Graham's advice, I was able to successfully write a Western. Something that film composers deal with all the time is what's called a leitmotif. A basic definition of a leitmotif is a recurring theme throughout a musical or literary composition associated with a particular person, idea, or situation. I'll give you an example. John Williams has written his share of motifs. Perhaps one of his most notable is his menacing theme for Darth Vader. Everyone knows when Darth Vader is coming because of the unmistakable music which supports the character. Film soundtracks are filled with these motifs. One more example I'll give is from the Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. The villain, Davy Jones, has a theme written by Hans Zimmer. The theme follows Jones around throughout the film, and the creators go as far as to include a scene which has Jones playing his own leitmotif on an organ. Graham recognized the importance of understanding this concept, so he assigned me the task of writing a melody for the protagonist, Jack. This, by the way, was happening while I was about to be composing for the horror movie scene. So once I came up with the melody, Graham had me find a way to incorporate Jack's theme in the horror piece. The melody had to be recognizable, but still had to fit and make sense in the context of the rest of the music. It wasn't easy, but I eventually got it done, and actually had a lot of fun in the process. I've gotten a lot out of taking the senior project. I got to do what I wanted and write music for Tika's screenplay. I also got to come in contact with Jordan Bellicott, a friend of Graham's who spent time composing for film and television as a career. This was a very cool experience, and he gave me very interesting and insightful advice, as well as listened to my music and gave me feedback. Now I'm going to play one of my compositions for you, and give you a taste of what I've been doing the last few months. The piece you're going to hear is the one that switched back from evil and good in that order. And since I have no visuals to accompany my music, feel free to close your eyes and get imaginative. Enjoy. in which I'm also going to include pieces from the college play, and maybe one or two of my other compositions. If you are interested in one of these, please write your name and address on this sheet of paper, which I will have out with the refreshments after my presentation. For the most part, my project went pretty smoothly, and I had all my composing done a couple weeks ago. So with the project complete, I had a chance to take a second and look at my work. This project allowed me to stretch myself and work hard on something I love. And although it was incredibly time-consuming and at times frustrating, the payoff is what made it worth it. Being able to look back at the beginning stages of my project, and now at the finished product, is very rewarding. During those beginning stages, I had to write a task analysis. A requirement of this was to have a portion titled Measure of Success. For that, I wrote, "When I have finished composing music and sharing it with others, and my music appropriately depicts the feelings the author is trying to convey, I will have succeeded in my project." Well, my project is done now, and I feel as if it was a success. But I'm not sure if it's because I accomplished what I said I wanted to in the task analysis, or if it's because of all the relationships I've built and strengthened as an outcome of my project. Either way, I'm very glad I chose to take senior project, although I admit I was not always glad, and that there were times I convinced myself I made the biggest mistake of my high school career. But now that it's done, I realize that the exact opposite is true. Senior project has prepared me and given me tools for the future that I couldn't get anywhere else. The class is designed to lead the students to success while doing things they care about and enjoy. Since taking this class, I have worked hard and lost sleep. But despite this, I have only positive things to say about it now that I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, so we're actually going to have some time for questions now. If, when you ask your question, Ben repeats your question, that is because he's being coached to do so. Because it's good practice, okay? So, can I get our first question for Ben?
Ben, did you listen to scores from other countries, from films from other countries, and if so, were there differences in the cultures, the cultural portrayal of moods and music?
The question was whether or not I listened to film scores from other countries, and the answer is not too much actually. I've heard a couple there's a composer I listened to from Argentina, but he wrote mostly from films that were made in America and such. So I don't have an answer for you, I'm afraid.
What was your service project?
The question was, what was my service piece for my senior project? And the answer to that is a couple of days ago, on Thursday last week, I gave a longer presentation similar to this one at Caramel Village for the residents there.
How'd that go?
It went very well, thank you.
Did you perform the music, or how did you get the scores performed?
The question was, how did I get the scores performed? And I actually didn't. I have a computer program called Mixcraft, which I create all my music on. It's basically I use MIDI file. So I plug my computer into my keyboard, and I can play parts on the keyboard, which will translate to the computer, and then I just add the parts on from there, and then it turns into that eventually.
Very good.
Questions?
What was the most challenging part musically for you? Like, what was the music stretch?
I think the question was, what was the biggest stretch musically for my project? And I think I'd have to say creating the leitmotif. The melody I created for Jack was not particularly scary. It was actually in major key and all that, but I had to find a way to make it fit in the scary horror piece, which was all minor and dark. And so that was a challenge. It took me several tries to actually get that to work, but eventually I was able to make it sound kind of solemn and stuff.
I was actually wondering about that. I was piece, which parts were like the scary parts and which parts were supposed to be like the leitmotif? Because the parts where it kind of felt uplifting and stuff, then went to do like a sort of unexpected chord change that was super cool, but made it have like an eerie-ish feel. So I wasn't really sure which part was which.
The question was which part of that piece were the leitmotif, but then actually that was a different piece. That was the contrasting one that went from the back of the
Which piece was your favorite that you ended up composing? Do you have a favorite?
The question was which piece that I composed was my favorite, and I think probably the horror piece. I like horror movies, and so it's fun to try to do my own take on a horror soundtrack.
You guys can shout.
How many instruments do you play?
The question was how many instruments do I play, and I think the answer is around 5. I think. Yeah. Piano, violin, guitar, bass, drums. Sort of violin, mandolin too.
And you can't shout, your voices.
How was it trying to work on your project while juggling senior responsibilities and homework, and on top of all the other things that you're involved in?
The question was how did I manage juggling all my different various senior activities with senior project? And the answer is not very well. It wasn't like that. Just kidding. Yeah, my life was very busy for the last couple months, especially the last 2 weeks with baseball and telegrams and secrets out now, and senior project. But I managed with the in-class time that I was given, which really was the most helpful thing that I made it possible.
I have a question. What was it like? I'm sure we'll be asking Tika the same thing in 2 days, but what was it like working with a classmate? I know there would be different deadlines and you'd be on a different schedule.
The question was, what was it like working with my classmate Tika, since she was the one who wrote the screenplay that I was scoring for. And it was a very enjoyable experience. We had unofficial meetings every now and then, in which we talk about what was going on in her screenplay and where she was at and where I was at, and we shared ideas, and it was a good experience.
Okay, do we have one more question? Anyone interested? Okay. The sign-up sheet will be back by the refreshments, which that's a great lead-in. If you guys, you'll have plenty of time to look at these again. We're going to take about 15 minutes, 10-ish minutes for the judges to deliberate for a bit. And in the meantime, please help yourself to, there's water, coffee, donuts. Decaf is labeled on the side, so if you need that, take a look. So yeah, head back through these doors. Some seniors will help you there if you're not sure where you're going. Okay?